Please call the roll.
Mr. Stanley?
Here.
Ms. Gadsden? Here. Ms. Sham?
Here.
Ms. Stagel?
Here.
Ms. Emeka?
Here. I will entertain a motion for adoption of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Are there any changes, questions, discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Stanley?
Yes.
Ms. Gadsden?
Yes.
Ms. Sham?
Yes.
Ms. Stagel?
Yes.
Ms. Emeka?
Yes. Next, we have citizens' concerns on agenda items. Did anyone sign up to address an item that is on the agenda? Do we get any virtually?
No, we have
Okay.
not.
Okay, so hearing none of those, we'll move on to news of note and presentations. Dr. Hall?
Okay. Today we acknowledge some of our staff members who have reached retirement and plan on retiring. Tonight we'd like to honor Miss Sue Ellick as well with a recognition, and also she received a plaque. She was unable to attend the ceremony today, but we would like to acknowledge her. And she will receive a recognition stating, whereas Miss Ellick has announced her retirement, and whereas Miss Ellick has faithfully served the district as the Director of People Services, and whereas Miss Ellick, during her tenure as an outstanding Director of People Services, has defined commitment and excellence, touched her lives and the lives of teachers, families, and Oberlin children. And whereas Ms. Ellick has been an essential staff member of the Oberlin City School District, helping intervention specialists and other administrators with family communication in order to best serve students. And whereas Ms. Ellick has been dedicated to the service profession of helping children in the community of Oberlin by her dedication to Oberlin City Schools. And whereas the Oberlin Board of Education extend to Ms. Ellick many years of happiness, enjoying time with her husband and daughter. Therefore, be it resolved that Ms. Ellick be thanked publicly for her outstanding contributions to the Oberlin City School District, that this resolution is made part of the minutes of this meeting, and that a copy is forwarded to Ms. Ellick and placed in her personnel record. This recognition is given the 12th day of December 2023. Ms. Ellick has served the district well as a principal and also Director of People Services for several years, and we'd like to acknowledge her and give her this as well. So I'd give her a round of applause as well. Another retirement we have is Wendy. Sit up. Come on up. Try to get on microphone here. She'll also receive a plaque. Whereas Wendy, Administrative Assistant of Oberlin City School, thank you. Go back to my singing days. Retired on October the 1st, 2023, and whereas Ms. Sidham has faithfully served the district as a Public Service Administrative Assistant, and whereas during her tenure as an outstanding administrative assistant has defined commitment and excellence, touched her lives and the lives of teachers, families, and children of Oberlin. And whereas she has been an essential staff member of the Oberlin City School District, helping the People Services Department, maintaining accurate records and data with her spreadsheets, her awesome spreadsheets that is, helping intervention specialists and administrators with family communication in order to best serve students. She has been dedicated to the service profession of helping children in the community of Oberlin by her dedication to Oberlin City Schools. The Oberlin City School Board extends a warm thank you for many years of happiness, enjoying time with her husband and children, traveling, reading, swimming, and other wonderful retirement pursuits. Hopefully she started already. Therefore, be resolved that Ms. Wendy Sidham be thanked publicly by her outstanding contributions to the Oberlin City School District, that this resolution is made part of the minutes of this meeting, and that a copy is forwarded to her personnel file and provided to her. This recognition is given this 12th day of December 2023. Please give her a round of applause as well. And please say a few words if you like.
I don't really like to speak in front of people, but I really enjoyed my time here at Oberlin. I don't miss the work, but I do miss the people, the students, and the staff. Not all staff, but you know what I mean. You can pick and choose the ones you think too. So, but just thank you very much for letting me serve Oberlin City Schools for a little over almost 9 years. So,
9 years?
yeah.
Feel like yesterday.
Yeah. Well, sometimes. So, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. And can we have a picture with the board as well, and as well up front? For our scrapbook.
Our scrapbook.
It looks like. Yeah. Here. And recognition here. Uh-oh.
No, I gotta go.
Oh, here you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And we have one more recognition as well, and I'm going to leave it up to Ms. Abeka.
Thank you. Okay, I guess I'll stand up too, if I get this out of here. Got it. Okay. So we want to recognize our board member, longtime board member, Ann Sham, who will be concluding her time on the board in just a matter of weeks here, by giving her a plaque award as well. I'm going to read the plaque and I'm going to say a few words. It says, "In grateful appreciation for your years of service on the Oberlin City School District Board of Education and to the children of Oberlin, Ann Sham, 2014 to 2023. So that's 10 years, correct? So 10 years, and she was acknowledged for this by the Ohio School Board Association as well last year. And I just want to personally thank you because of your experience. You have really helped me as a newer board member transition to the role of just being a board member and then also serving as vice president and president of the board. I know you've held a lot of hats and a lot of roles on this board, and we're not quite letting you go all the way. Ann serves on the JVS board, and I think she's going to continue to do that if she's,
If you guys want me to.
yeah, willing to. You guys had your chance to speak up and steal the show, and Janet, we talked to Janet too, so I think you're still it. And we really appreciate it because your background really supports that with your expertise in manufacturing for the nonprofit that you work with. But as a resident of Oberlin, an individual who attended the Oberlin City Schools, and to serve on the board for 10 years, you just bring a wealth of knowledge, connection to the community, and a real understanding of the role that we all very much appreciate. And so I'd like to thank you for your service personally. The whole board thanks you for your service, and the community thanks you for your service. So thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you want to use my mic or yours to say something?
I'll use yours, but I think he wants to take a picture.
Oh, okay.
That way I don't have to take another one out, right? Well, thank you. When I decided to run for the board, I was playing softball out at the field south of town and speaking with Ian Yarber, and he said to me, well, if you decide to run and you get elected, just know that on your absolute best day, only half the town's mad at you. And, you know, my kids stopped coming to the grocery store with me because you can't go to IGA and buy milk without somebody coming and saying, oh, you know, I meant to tell you this, or what do you think about that? And, you know, get text messages from friends that you've known for years that now have kids in the district. And it's a job that you just don't put down. But I'll tell you what, especially days like today when we have this room full of kids, and my kids have now made it through college. So I don't get to see the light that you guys bring every day. And so I love this job. And so I encourage parents in particular, but members of our community. This is an important service that we do that keeps a healthy environment for our children. And I love being part of Oberlin, but it is a challenge for us because there are not that many people to do a lot of jobs. And so think about getting involved, whether it's helping on a committee or running for the board, but we are what you make us as a community. So thank you for your support and guidance and patience as I figured out how to do things and now teaching others. I'll still be around. I just don't have to come to meetings anymore.
Okay, I got it.
Thank you. Next, we have a presentation at Oberlin Elementary School. I'd like to turn the mic over to Mrs. Weber. Got to turn it on.
Are we close? We got it. All right. Well, thank you for being with us this evening. When we knew that this evening we would be able to present at the board meeting, I had a really hard time deciding what we would showcase because there are so many awesome things happening here at the elementary school this year. So I'm going to try my best to make technology work for me. The students are usually my go-to. Oh, we got it right away. So a couple highlights just from our first quarter, and then I'm going to turn it over to the best guest of the night, which is our students. So in the fall, we hosted our literacy and math night in October. We had over 200 students and families join us. That was an awesome event for us. The kids really enjoyed themselves. Our staff did also. This year we had a hay maze where students solved math facts to try to figure out their way through. We collaborated with some outside agencies like Oberlin Kids were able to attend. We also worked with the high school art club. They came and did face painting for us. And it was just a great night to celebrate learning where our families came and got to learn a little bit more about what we do at school for literacy and math. We've also been doing after-school tutoring for our students in grades 1st through 5th. We have about 69 students who were invited, and 75% have participated in our sessions. So we're really happy with those results and being able to offer that service to our students. We do that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, or I'm sorry, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday nights after school for an hour each of those days. Also, this year we started a Rise Gallery as part of our PBIS program. So on your way into our building, you'll see a big wall of photos. Those are our students who were recognized as Student of the Month. We have monthly themes that focus on one of our Rise attributes, such as responsibility, being involved or safe, or having empathy. Teachers recommend the students. We take their pictures, they get a certificate, and they're just recognized at our monthly assemblies, which also showcase things like improved attendance, class attendance, and just showcasing some of the special things we have going on here, like safety patrol, student council. We've also had the high school girls soccer team come over after their awesome season, and our students got to see some older kids. And there was so much more. Our students attended mock trial last week through the ESC. Our 4th graders went on a field trip to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Mrs. DeWitt has been working with our students to do poster entries for the Toni Morrison contest, professional development for our staff, collaboration with America Reads, America Counts, Oberlin Kids, the Art Museum. So lots of fantastic things are happening here, and they'll continue, which is, you saw on our agenda about one school, one book. This will be our 3rd year with this event. And what it does is it's a part of the program of Read to Them, the literacy program. We provide all of the students in our building and staff the same book. It's a secret. Only the people who are the guest readers get to know what the book is, so our students don't know, and a lot of our staff in the building don't even know. Only people who are serving on the committee know what the book is right now. They ask community members to record themselves reading the book, chapters of the book, and then we post it to a school-wide Google Classroom. So the students can read on their own with their family. They can watch the recording of the chapters. Our committee who's working on this is phenomenal. They actually made a QR code with a sign that I'll give you that'll be hung around in different locations in town. So when you scan the QR code, it gives you more information about the One School, One Book, but it also invites people to participate in different literacy activities that are going on with the event. So that'll be our big event looking forward to in the month of January, February. And we were also lucky enough to partner with our PTO, who they will be hosting an event halfway through to just kind of celebrate literacy in the book and just a fun night. So a great collaborative for us also. So, but I don't want to spend much more time up here, so I'm going to bring up our student council advisors. So we have our student council of advisors, Ms. Ruiz and Ms. Parsh are going to come up, and they'll talk to you about some awesome students that we have with us this evening.
Hi guys, I'm Nina Ruiz. I'm one of the student council advisors. You guys can come up. We're gonna get everyone ordered. 1 second.
Just watch the camera behind you, Sarah.
Parsh, this is Nina's and I, our second year as a student council advisor. So we're excited to share with you what we've been working on this year.
Student Council is in its third year here at OES. Student Council is a student-led organization made up of 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. It is a big responsibility to be part of Student Council.
To be part of Student Council, each representative must be elected by their homeroom class. These students must demonstrate their RISE motto every day.
In November, Student Council celebrated Native American Heritage Month.
Student Council created a mural with important Native American figures from history. This mural is hanging in the hallway for all to see.
Our current project is dedicated to the annual Soup and Sock Drive. OES Student Council has partnered with the Interact Club and Oberlin High School Student Council to collect donations.
December 4th through December 15th, Student Council will collect donations of soup cans, new socks, and non-perishable food items to donate to our community members in need. Donation boxes are outside the office if you want to donate an item.
Looking at the rest of the school year, a few things that we plan to include are celebrating Black History Month, promoting an increase in recycling here at school, and food and clothing drives for the community. Thank you for your continued support and for having us here tonight.
Did you know that millions of plastic bags pollute the earth every day? Well, Oberlin Methodist Church has worked hard to solve that problem. You may be wondering what they are doing to solve that problem. So let's answer that question by diving right in. The Oberlin Methodist Church has made carpets out of plastic bags called compassion carpets. Compassion carpets are given to homeless people and to make their bedding waterproof and insulated from where they are currently sleeping. And they are durable. Jean, a participant in the project, was asked how long the carpets last. Until they're lost, she said. Plastic lasts almost forever. That's why it's not so good for the environment. Oberlin Methodist Church started the project on April 22nd, 2021, on the day before Earth Day. Other churches across the country have been doing this as well. It started in Oberlin when they had heard about the carpets from LaGrange Methodist Church. The carpets are mainly distributed by the Salvation Army, who have direct connection with the Lorain County homeless population, unlike the Oberlin Methodist Church. To make compassion carpets, there is a very precise and long process. First, you need to collect the plastic bags. Then you need to flatten the bags. Next, you cut the bags into small strips. Next, you hook the bags together. Then you make that into plarn. Plarn is a combination of the words plastic and yarn. Finally, a person will either weave, crochet, or knit a beautiful carpet. It takes around 750 plastic bags to make one carpet. Oberlin Elementary School has contributed to this project by collecting plastic bags and flattening them. It is immensely appreciated that the school has flattened the bags because this is not incredibly common when it comes to bag donations. Thanks to some help from OES donations, the Oberlin Methodist Church has made about 90 completed carpets, and most of those carpets have been delivered. If you would like to contribute to this project, you can donate bags after flattening them to Oberlin Methodist Church, located at 45 South Prospect Street in Oberlin.
So this represents a compassionate carpet here, and usually they're 6 feet long, so that's not even to true scale. So yeah, we're very excited. That was our 5th grade action project. We will do it again in the spring, so you can save your bags, bring them in the spring, and we will do it again for our action project. So thank you so much.
Can we ask a question?
Of course, please ask questions.
Who are our student presenters? I'd like to know their names.
Do I say last name too? I'm Max Campana, and I'm in 5th grade.
I'm Atticus Niski, and I'm in 4th grade.
I'm Connor Freilich, and I'm in 5th grade.
I'm Charles Cafaro, and I'm in 4th grade.
I'm Zane Chambers, and I'm in 4th grade.
I'm Carlos de la Luz. I'm in 5th grade.
I'm Lauren Bannock, and I'm in 5th grade.
Nice job, guys.
Good job, guys. I have a question. So, back to the, do I need one, really?
Yes.
I'm on, it's not echoing.
For the
Okay.
people at home.
I'll use the other voice. The Jesse Reeder. So, right, the Jesse Reeder voice. So, I'm looking at the soup and sock drive. That was done throughout all of the schools, or just the elementary and the high school?
To our knowledge, I believe, we elementary and the high school, we just partnered up with the high school.
Okay.
So it could be going on at Langston, but we reached out to the high school.
Okay.
Any other questions?
One more. I think you said this, but I just want to clarify. So everyone here who presented is on the student council here at OES. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I want to say thank you to you guys because so frequently when we have kids present, we love seeing you guys here. We love hearing about what you're doing, and we have a really hard time hearing you. So nice job to every single one of you.
Yeah.
We understood everything you said, so good job.
Thank you.
Thank you, great job.
Oh, and it empties out.
And then there were 4.
We know how this goes. Wow.
Well, and not even really
What a
full.
way to clear out the
Well,
rest.
I
One
know.
is coming on.
Got nobody
Yeah.
now.
Okay, next, I'd like to publicly thank our police department for their support and help, and Chief Warfield as well for this week. He provided excellent leadership and the police department during the hoax that we had. Him and I were on the phone from 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. probably for wee hours of the night, just trying to arrange things for our sweeps for our buildings, extra security, and he was very cooperative and up 6 o'clock in the morning, ranging police department support for us during that time. So without him and his leadership, I'm not sure if he helped make this happen and make it a safe building for us as well. Next, we have a facility update. Facility update, we have Mr. Rivals not here today, but we also have Dan DiNicola here as well to clarify any information that you have or any concerns that you have. On the board agenda, on board items C, we'll be voting on a resolution with Drew Siley and Liberty Corporation as well. And they'll be working on the resolution you're signing. Dan can probably provide some more information and details regarding the resolution. It'll move our project forward and closer to disposing of Eastwood Elementary Building. Dan?
Good evening, everyone. I hope I can do as good a job as the students did. I've been working with the district for a while, helping with the building project, and occasionally Dr. Hall gives me some other tasks. And one of those tasks was disposal of unused property. Once we built this school, there was no need to have Prospect in Eastwood. We were successful in disposing of Prospect. In Eastwood, we tried some things, it didn't work. But last year, a guy named Drew Siley from Liberty Development approached us and said he would be interested. And I believe the board or the superintendent signed a letter of intent to give him 6 months to review the property, see if it would suit his needs. It did. He came back about July or August. And since that time, we've been trying to put together a plan to make this work. Let me back up. There's several ways the board can dispose of property, and one of them is you can transfer it to Port Authority. So we thought that option might be a good one. So we've spent the last probably 5 months trying to negotiate this deal, little odds and ends. We had me and our staff from the district, Bob and Dr. Hall and Jim, our attorney, the port, their director, their assistant director, their attorney, and then whoever was handling it besides Drew Siley at Liberty and their attorney. And we were all going back and forth. We would change one thing, then they changed 2 other things. So it got to be a very difficult process. But I think we have a solution. So what would take place if you pass this resolution tonight? Liberty and the port have a certain amount of time to develop, I think it's specified as Exhibit B in our agreement, but it's their actual purchase agreement between those two. But our purchase agreement with the port provides that we would sell the property to the port, and the port in turn would sell it to Liberty pretty much simultaneously. The port wouldn't hold it for any length of time. It would go from us to them, and it has to transfer from us to the port first because that's what the law says. We can't sell it outright to an individual. So it would transfer to them. So there are 2 separate agreements. We don't have the other one. That will be coming. If it's not to our liking, the deal would be off. But under our agreement, there's another 6 months of due diligence, and during that period, Liberty will probably bring in engineers. They'll actually start spending some money to determine if the property is going to work for them. One of the conditions we put in there is the property must be used for residential purposes. We talked about all residential. I don't know if that fits his business plan. We talked about some residential. He wanted to make it multi-use, and we were adamant it could be multi-use, but some of it had to be residential housing. What that'll look like, I don't know. Again, it's still in the planning stages, so we'll have to see. But anyhow, the other things that were in there are, I think, pretty straightforward. It talks about the types of documents we would use, the types of deeds. And then at closing, we would pay our share of the normal closing costs for title search, half of the escrow agent, and we would collect $50,000. There's some provisions in there. If he doesn't perform, we can go back after him, things like that. But that's kind of the gist of it. So if you approve this agreement tonight, we still have to get the other agreement. We have to make sure that's satisfactory. And then there's another 6 months of the due diligence. We'll be required to maintain the property until then. It's still our property. We need to insure it. We need to take care of it. It only transfers to them at actual closing. Now, it's also possible that before the 6 months expires, he might say, I'm ready to go, have everything in place, I want to do it now. He can do it anytime between now and in the 6 months. So that's pretty much in simple terms. I'm not a lawyer, but I tried to cover everything that was important. But I will answer any other questions you have.
I have a question. So do we have any idea about how long it might take to get the purchase agreement between the Port Authority and Liberty Development?
Well, we had hoped to have both agreements together. And the negotiations went on, and it got to be more and more difficult, people not there. And what Liberty said is they would like to see the board pass this before they expended more funds to work with the Port Authority. I was hoping the port would already have it and they could approve it because they have a meeting tonight. Well, that's not going to happen. But we gave them until, I think it says February 29th.
Okay.
So anytime between now and the 29th. If the board approves this, it would be my intention to call them and say, you have until the 29th, but you really need to get going, because that starts the clock on all this.
Thank you.
When you say that starts the clock, that starts the 6 months clock?
Yes. He's got 180 days of due diligence, and then it could always be extended for some reason with our approval. And then once the due diligence period ends, I think there's 45 days that the documents are collected that go to the escrow agent before the actual transfer takes place. I think it's a total, it could be a total of 225, but it could be shorter than that. If they came back in March and said, we did our due diligence, we're ready to go, they could advise us of that, and then we would collect the documents in and then go to escrow.
And Dan, just remind us what it would cost to demolish that building.
I think with the asbestos removal, abatement, and the demo was like $450,000. So that's an option if the board wants to spend that to demolish it and then do something else with the property. We've been looking at this ever since we started to design this building. What can we do? What's going to be the least cost for the district, but what benefits the community the most? And we've met with probably 5 or 6 or 8 different groups, and the one thing that kept coming up was housing. They need housing, they need housing. So that's why we specifically put it in our plan. It wasn't our intent to totally control the developer. So if he puts housing and there's a little convenience store, we felt that would be fine. It enhances the community, but we felt there has to be some more housing.
And he has also been working with city council, like he's been working with the city, so we're not gonna run into the same barriers that we hit when we started down the previous pathway.
Well, I can't speak to that. All I know is we approved.
Well, he has been working with
We
us.
approved a letter of intent
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
And that was like late last December or early last January, can't remember. And he has been having meetings. I think he might have met with Kendall, he might have met with the Land Trust Group, but he's met with several different groups, including the city. So in July, he wouldn't have told us he wanted to proceed if he was getting some negative feedback. So I think it's pretty promising, but.
And so he met with us at least twice and came to meetings. And I have to say, as a citizen of Oberlin, I feel like, having somebody who has money to invest and is going to be doing something that's going to be interesting and the housing options, I'm excited about what it could represent. I mean, I'm sad that Eastwood was my school, but okay, I'm over it now. So we need housing. This is exciting to have somebody come in who has resources, and we found a way to go through the loopholes without having to offer it up to charter schools or whatever other things the state limits us to.
I think this is a great plan for the district as well as the city.
Yeah.
And it avoids a lot of other issues. And the way I always look at it, I've been doing school projects for a while. I think I tore down every school that I went to, every school that my kids went to. So it's sad.
Yeah.
But those memories are in my head and in my heart.
Exactly.
But things move on. And when you see these younger students being in a nice modern facility, it's great.
Dan, can you remind us what the zoning is currently?
I think the zoning is R2, which is single family. Well, there's some exceptions, churches, schools, single families. Either R1 or R2, I can't remember. And he would probably switch it to a multi-use.
Yeah, R2.
From 1 to 2.
It's R2.
Yeah, we're in one right now.
1 to 2.
R2
Okay.
would be multifamily.
But he may want to switch to something else.
Right.
Because I think he's got to start looking at the building to see, he wants to bring some engineers in to see what he could salvage, what he could use it for, and then what uses they could put in there. So he may want something different than just residential. He may want a little commercial component in there too.
The thing I really appreciated about them was the involvement in the community. As you said, he had meetings with different groups around town, but he also had meetings with residents. And so talking to the people who lived right around Eastwood. I was impressed with his process and the idea and how kind of open-minded they were and in considering and being upfront about the fact that they need to not lose money on this. So, but it should be good.
Okay, there you have it.
Dan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Hall. Okay, now we're moving on to action items. We have board items A through C. I'll entertain a motion to approve those items.
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. So the board items are A, approval of the November 28, 23 regular session minutes. B, approval to select a temporary president to preside over the January 9, 2024 organizational meeting. And C, approval of the resolution authorizing the execution of a disposition agreement with the Lorraine Port Authority related to the sale by the school district board of the Eastwood Elementary School building located at 198 East College Street, Oberlin, Ohio.
So for B, we need a nominee.
We do need a nominee.
So I would like to nominate Farah Emeka to serve as temporary president of the January 9th meeting.
Second.
Well, I definitely will accept that, but any, I guess we have to talk about it. Any discussion, any other?
Anybody else want to do it?
Hearing none, please, well, do we have to call a roll
Well,
on that?
We have to call a roll for all
It's a
of the stuff,
nomination.
Everything together is fine.
Okay, everything together is fine. Okay, so I'm the nominee. And then, that takes care of that. And the resolution. Is there any discussion or questions about the minutes? Any changes on that? Pick the nominee. And then we talked about the resolution and what it's related to in the facilities report, but any questions or discussion about that? Okay, hearing none. Please call the roll.
Mr. Stanley?
Yes.
Ms. Gatson?
Yes.
Ms. Sham?
Yes.
Ms. Stagel?
Yes.
Ms. Ametka?
Yes. Okay. And next we have treasurer's items. I will entertain a motion to approve treasurer items A through B.
So moved.
It's been properly moved, oh, sorry.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Bob.
Okay, we ended the month of November with $18,209,024.73. Outstanding checks were $18,675.51. Interest for the month was $44,280.61, and there was no adjustments or anything needed. So everything worked out fine. I'm training my Corinne, my assistant, the payroll. She's learning how to close, so in case I'm hit by a truck, we have a foothold to move
Thank you.
forward on. So
Cross-training is key.
yes, so
But please don't get hit by a
Yeah.
I hope
Look
not.
both ways.
Last month, we did approve the 5-year forecast, so right now, the district is moving forward. We are above our projections in the 5-year forecast on revenues, and we're right in line on expenses according to the 5-year forecast at the end of the month of November. So if there's no questions on that, the forecast is posted online now. The assumptions are there. I have double-checked it, and I've updated all the links on the treasurer's website so everybody can get right to it. And then with all funds, we did advance money to the 070 fund to take up the real estate taxes that Nexus paid. So those have been receipted, moved from the general fund into the 070 fund, bringing that balance to just under $3 million. And that hopefully will help fund the Phase 2 project. Other than that, on the treasurer's report, all the funds are pretty much in line to where they should be. The state has finally started making cash advances on the federal and state grants, so we have to spend the money before we're allowed to get that money, so that's why it's always negative during the year, until we expend it fully. Donations for the month?
Can you hold on one second,
Yes.
Bob? This is my last time to ask about lunchroom.
Yes.
So I noticed the unencumbered balance for November of '22 is significantly higher than the unencumbered balance of prior years.
Yes, the state hasn't been able to make contributions, so they held back. They paid us for August, September, which August is very small. They couldn't figure out with the changeover of ODE because they're switching who's allowed to pay it, so they switched it without giving them the new workforce department. They switched over, but they didn't have authorization to make payments. So the October payment hasn't come and November payment hasn't come. But we just got October's and November's supposed to be here next week, so.
So it'll be better
Yes.
on the
It
January
will be better,
report?
but we have increased our participation. The problem is with that increase is higher food costs also, so it's, AGI is doing good. They're trying to use as much farm to, and working with the local entities to get in, but those products are costly, so.
And how have we done this year, and you might not know the answer to this, but in getting kids signed up, getting the paperwork in?
He's doing quite well.
Yeah.
And he was shocked at how many he got in computerized compared to last year, but he's spent a lot of time entering them by hand, so. But I know that they're up. I don't know the exact numbers.
Okay.
But I know that he was planning on, I thought they had a committee scheduled next month, food service committee. So hopefully he'll have all that wrapped up.
I'll have to make sure that I get my address changed to my Gmail address so I can still lodge my
And you
questions.
used to come to those committee meetings, and you could come back now as a community
you're-
I
member.
could come as a community member, yeah.
Yes.
If you're voted in as, you'll keep your board address with your JV,
With a JVS?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
because
Okay.
you're still serving us.
I don't know.
Have you transferred everything out already?
No, I keep that is in a vault. There has to be separation of, sunshine law is no joke.
The donations for November were Ohio Pile Prints 9498 to the Oberlin High School Support Fund, and We Care Closet dropped off twice, clothing, shoes, coats, and toys. We estimated the cost at $4,439.
And
That's
Bob,
great.
I just had one question about
Yes.
the checks.
Yes.
The checks printed. The very last one is something for Prospect School, and I'm just wondering if that is a typo and it's for somewhere else, or?
It's probably a typo that was picked up on a rec that they copied from. Who was the vendor?
Central Extermination?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's for a different
They,
school.
they just didn't change the line item, so it's the new elementary, because the new elementary picked up all those
Right.
expense codes.
And yeah, and I feel like you've fixed most of them.
Yes, I will make a note of that.
Thank you.
That's all I have, Mr. President.
Okay, so any other questions, discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Stanley?
Yes.
Ms. Gatson?
Yes.
Ms. Shum?
Yes.
Ms. Stagel?
Yes.
Ms. Amek?
Yes. Okay. Next, we have superintendent's consent items. I will entertain a motion to approve superintendent's items A through, oh, this says A again.
A through
A through
Through
C four.
So that's-
So moved.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Dr. Hall.
Okay, item A is approve an energy control proposal. That's for an amount of $24,000. That's for LMS boiler. we went to a tour of the facility and we saw a little water down at the bottom. And so that's going to take an expense for us to repair that area.
It
So
wasn't a
this-
little water, though.
No.
Yeah, we had wet shoes.
It was kind of bad.
Yes. So that should, we have actually 3 quotes, and this is the middle quote, so we're going to pair it here with this much money as well. So we probably have some additional repairs coming, but this is the quoted repair. I'm not sure which boiler it was. I don't know what Jim called them. Bessie and Sue.
It was the one on the right.
One on the right, so I'm not sure.
Bessie.
Bessie.
And
So
when will
we're,
that happen?
what's that?
They're,
Do we
they're
know when
already
the-
working on it.
Okay.
Yes.
They've got it all prepped, ready to go, so as soon as we approve it, I think they're scheduled tomorrow to be here and start. They're gonna replace all the bottom tubes, because those are the ones, the top ones look all right, and they didn't think that they needed done right now, so.
Okay.
And the last time those were done were 20 years ago.
Item B is approval of the first reading and discussion of the following fall updates and audit review policies. There's a list of them there. I'd like to thank our policy review committee as well. We do have another meeting this week for, I think, 2 or 3 hours again. So I'd like to thank, 2 hours. So I'd like to thank our board members for being on that committee as well.
We only have 3 sections left.
3 sections.
Oh, wow. That's great.
We're getting through them. Item C is personnel
So,
report.
well,
Yes, sir.
What's the difference between reject and rescind?
So rescind is a policy that we already had in place that we are taking away for some reason. So sometimes it's that it's covered in the collective bargaining agreement, or it's just not needed anymore. And then, what's the other one?
Reject.
Reject.
Reject is something that they've asked us if we would like to have, that we don't have to have, and we've decided not to include in our policies.
And why did we decide to reject intra-district open enrollment?
Because currently, we only have 1 elementary, so when we had 2 elementaries, and
Oh,
you would
intra,
have,
meaning
you would
Intra.
have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ah, okay,
Yes.
because there's no,
Because
There
you
is no
can't do that.
There's nowhere for them to go.
got it, thank you.
It's for the many, many different schools covering 3rd through 5th grade.
Yeah. Sure.
All the high schools in Oberlin.
Well said.
That's it.
Ms. Stagel, well said. Learned a lot on policy. Great job.
Yes, thank you for doing it.
Personnel report, item C, resignations. We have 1 resignation for custodian. Item 2C2 is leave of absence. Item 3 is we have new employment. I'd like to welcome Ada Cologne back to the district, phenomenal worker, and I'd like to welcome her back. Alexis Comito is our bus driver. She's going to take on also substitute teacher responsibilities as well. So she's still going to drive the bus because we need bus drivers, but she'll still be driving the bus in between time.
She's a mother.
She's up there with you and Mr. Ibo.
Yes,
and yeah.
yes. Great Christmas conversation on a van yesterday with some of our wonderful students.
I believe it.
Item C4 is supplementals. We have a list of supplementals for coaches and request approval item A through C4.
Awesome. Any other questions, discussion? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Stanley?
Yes.
Ms. Gatson?
Yes.
Ms. Shum?
Yes.
Ms. Stagel?
Yes.
Ms. Ameca?
Yes. Okay, so next we have the board update. And do we have any board updates?
We do have a board update. So as mentioned last month, for the legislative update, our board member-elect got to work early and composed a letter and sent it around to the board that was expressing our displeasure with some of the changes that have happened in Columbus about how the Department of Education is being staffed, how that board is working, what responsibilities are now becoming a partisan level rather, or partisan placement rather than elected positions. And so Janet wrote a beautiful letter, and so I think we're going to ask her to read that for us, and then I'll ask that. So listen with the ear of, we want to approve this today and be able to submit the letter from the Board of Education with the board member-elect.
Now, I wonder if I can just take this off of here and
Yes.
so I can balance this
Yes.
on my
Sure.
knee?
Yeah, just make sure it's turned on, yeah.
Yep.
Hi, you hear me?
Yep.
It's back in your days of kindergarten teaching, like you're going to read us the story.
That's right. I'm going to read you a story. Dear Governor DeWine, our local, I'm sorry?
Is the sigh included?
Yes, it says great big sigh. Our local Oberlin Board of Education wishes to express our great disappointment with recent changes you have made to the Ohio Board of Education, specifically in the area below, which has caused great harm to our Ohio's children. First, it is not ethical to remove the role of elected Ohio Board of Education officials and replace them with your own appointees. The benefit of elected state board members is that they are beholden to parents and the children of the schools that they serve. Replacing them with partisan appointees takes away the voice and choice of Ohio citizens. It is not the American way, nor is it good for the advancement of education. Likewise, we are dismayed by the deluge of bills being considered in the Ohio legislature which interfere with local control of our students' education. It has long been the law, as well as the practice and expectation in our state, that parents and educators together make decisions regarding the best educational practice for our children without interference from distant authoritarians with partisan agendas of their own. This rings true regardless of which party is in office at the time. By stripping away elected officials, you take away the voices of parents all the way down to our neighborhood schools. We are frankly tired of your meddling. Further, if you are serious in your wish to improve public education in Ohio, please focus your attention on fixing, finally, the unequal funding of our schools, something that has been ruled illegal by the Ohio Supreme Court, but has been ignored all these years by your administration. When the voters in local school districts vote to approve school taxes, those tax dollars belong to the public schools. By passing legislation to withdraw these funds and sending vouchers to private schools, we believe you are robbing our public school students of their education funds and denying the will of the voters. If you want tax money to be used to support private schools, we suggest you withdraw payments from the general fund, or even better, offer a tax levy to Ohio school districts and let the voters decide where their hard-earned taxes should be placed. Lastly, we also would like to see testing requirements returned to local control. The current state requirements add outrageous costs in both student time and district budgets, while significantly reducing vital learning time. Our suggestion is that you conduct a time study on the amount of learning time sacrificed in our Ohio school classrooms year after year due to this addition of standardized tests. For all of the reasons above, we implore you to take our suggestions seriously and consider how the decisions reverberating from your office are affecting the students on our watch. At present, they are harmful, invasive, and hindering the time we have in our classrooms. Please do better. Please work collaboratively with local schools so all hands are on deck to help our Ohio children. We have no time to lose. Janet Garrett, Member-elect, Oberlin Board of Education.
That's great. We could just get it to his ears now. Get it?
I hope his ears are burning.
Yeah.
I believe they are. I really appreciate the strong language that's used in that letter. There's no question about what the message is. So what's the proper process then to try to, because we're going to approve it. Do we need
Well,
to
so
make a
it's not
motion, or-
something that we really need to, I mean, we don't need to make a motion and second, but I think it's more that this is coming from the board, and if there's any objection to it, then we
You
should
can raise
state
it
that.
now.
And then other than that, we just ask Dr. Hall to have it put on letterhead and sent.
Okay, by the board. Well, I definitely am in support and have been.
I support.
Oh, yeah, of course I support.
Okay.
I don't have a JVS update because our meeting is Thursday. However, if the board does decide to put me back into that position again, which it sounds like you're going to, what my plan moving forward will be just to provide an update each month, kind of following the meetings, and I will start harassing the JVS folks to convey more regularly, because I know I have been forwarding some updates that aren't somehow making it through to, I think, Melissa. So I promise to do that for the board if you do put me back in this role.
You keep saying if.
Well, the vote has to happen,
It does.
right? I mean,
It
just,
does.
It has to be official.
but what I'm hearing is that I shouldn't potentially give them back the iPad that they require me to use.
That would be a
Or
good
make
idea not to
plans
do
for
that.
whatever evening you have.
That meeting is,
on.
right?
Exactly. Third Thursdays, got it, okay.
Yeah, thank you, Ann, for continuing to serve on the JVS board. That's been very helpful to us. Finance Committee didn't meet, but we are making progress, Bob. We're making progress on being able to just renew the 4.8 mil levy. I'm cautiously optimistic that that's going to work for our new building.
You're a magic worker.
Awesome. Any other updates? We already indicated that the policy review committee is going to meet on Thursday, so we'll have an update after that. Okay. So finishing with the board updates, we now have a hearing of the public on other items. And so we have folks who signed in, but sometimes we have folks sign in because of attendance, just saying that they're here. So is there anyone who has signed in to address the board? And if there is, please state your name. Do I have to state their address too? State your address, and you only have 3 minutes to speak. Is there anyone?
Go ahead.
I think you're at Jeff, yeah.
Okay.
Sure, my name is Jeff McConaughey. I live at 281 Reserve Avenue. I'm here, I wanted to really discuss and get a better understanding of the lockdown that happened last week. I was not at all impressed. When I received that email, it sounded to me like a student might have had a seizure, and it was a medical emergency. Getting home, speaking to my students, I found out that there was a multitude of kids going down due to perceived weed edibles. I responded to Dr. Hall's email saying that I did not find that an acceptable email because as an engaged parent, I would want to be able to speak to my children about the drug uses in the schools and talk about that. The next day, I followed up with a phone call to Dr. Hall, and it felt to me like he didn't want to engage the fact that it would have been drug use or could be drug use in the schools. But then sitting here reading this, I find that we're getting Narcan in the schools now, and we're dealing with students with seizures. So it's weird that both line items, my email believed that it was a student that might have had a seizure, but yet it appears to be drug use. So I would like to understand the use of the lockdown, the procedure, how that's handled, and how information is relayed out to parents. I felt that my students being put in a lockdown, notification of that over 3 hours later, without any kind of fact base or understanding, and still to this day no follow-up, I really do believe to be kind of unacceptable. I spoke to you, you brushed me off, and that's why unfortunately I stand up here to ask in front of the whole board, but I would like to know more about that lockdown.
So the way this portion of the thank you for your comments and thank you for your concern in raising the issue. The way this portion of the meeting works is that you're able to bring up issues that are not actually on the agenda, but because the board is not prepared to address it yet and potentially the administrators are not, we can't answer your question right here directly in the meeting, but we will take back what you've asked us about and we will address it after we've had the opportunity to kind of look into it.
With that, I did try to go through the board to look for the policy on lockdown, and I didn't find that. So if anyone does find that policy, if they could get it forwarded to me so I could understand it.
Yeah, we
I would
do.
appreciate it.
Board policy 8420 is emergency situations at school, which addresses it, and pandemics and other medical emergencies, which is 8420.01.
I didn't find it specific to lockdown, but I'll look.
Yeah, it's not specific to lockdown, but it explains.
I think that, I guess with my thought though.
Yeah, if you could come
Yeah,
back, you still have like a minute or so, so you can.
I think with that, there should be an understanding of the procedures of how we handle the lockdowns, how it goes after that, and the information that does roll out. I think it needs to be complete. Had I not engaged my students, I would have believed that someone might have just had a seizure walking down the hall. And that's far be it from what it is.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you. Yes. So, yeah, you're asking for a complete explanation of how the process works and how information is gotten out to the parents. And so we will look into that. Is that something that we can present at our regular meeting in January?
Yes.
Okay, so that gives us a reasonable amount of time to look into it and present it. Yep, thank you. Okay, great. No other folks sign up for public comments? Okay, so our future meetings. We will have our organizational meeting on January 9th, 2024 at 6 p.m. It'll be right here at Oberlin Elementary School. And at that meeting, you'll get the calendar for the entire year for school meetings, and we'll address all those different dates. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
You're a little too eager, Ann, for your last meeting. Please call the roll.
Mr. Stanley?
Yes.
Ms. Gatson?
Yes.
Ms. Sham?
Yes.
Ms. Daigle?
Yes.
Ms. Ameka?
Yes. Thank you, everyone.